Dragon Age The Veilguard gets much more complicated as you progress through the story, and there are a lot of interlocking systems that can take some time getting used to. So if you're starting The Veilguard fresh, then these 14 tips will get you off on the right foot. Keep in mind, we're making a separate guide for just combat as well, so these will cover the other systems you'll encounter. A treasure icon, or something more specific like a wolf icon for a Fen'Hara altar, can appear below your minimap to indicate a treasure is nearby, and it will mark itself on your map when you pass it. Veilguard's areas are highly vertical, so check the arrow next to the treasure to see if it's on a level above or below you. If you're still struggling with this position, open your full map and mark the treasure. This will show the treasure's location in the world, helping you triangulate it much more easily. Exploration is a tad different in Dragon Age The Veilguard than its predecessors. When you're first sent to an area to do a main story quest, while you're technically in the area proper, you're not in its explorable state quite yet. After completing the story mission you were sent there for, you'll receive a notification that the area is now an explorable area. This means you're now free to treat this area more as a miniature open world, meaning waypoints, chests, and side quests are more readily available. The top left of the map screen will show your collectible progress, but don't worry, any chest you might have found during your first more linear visit will still count towards your overall collectible total, even if the world progress tracker isn't showing up quite yet. There are many closed paths when you first explore an area, and they often require an ability from your companions that will unlock after a particular quest or story beat with them. And don't worry about needing them in your party to use it. After unlocking these exploration abilities, you can still use them when that party member isn't around. If you're in the lighthouse, take a peek at the map for any new dialogue options. Your companions each have their own room here, and their character markers will show a little bubble dialogue box above their heads. It's helpful to always interact with these to raise your relationship with that companion. Even if you have no interest in romancing them, raising their bond is what gives them skill points. And who knows, you may find someone more interesting as you get to know them better. Also, if the icon has a timer, those conversations can expire if you progress Veilguard too much, so talk to them as soon as you can. Make it a habit of returning to the lighthouse after every major quest. Make sure your skill slots are varied and synergize with each other. For example, if you have a skill that detonates, make sure someone in your party has a primer. Also, some skills for your player character may take a resource like mana, momentum, or rage, while others might just require a cooldown. Having both of these types of skills at the ready allows you to use them more often. If you're running 3 skills that each take rage, for instance, you might find yourself using just your favorite one, which is potentially wasting 2 skill slots. Take a good look at your tooltips. Statuses, afflictions, primers, detonators, control skills, strike skills, weakened, sundered, necrotic. Veilguard throws around a ton of key terms and phrases that are easy to miss and confuse with each other. While in the equipment or skills menus, press the corresponding details button to see a quick definition of the terms being used, as these can make or break your combat ability or party composition. There are myriad builds you can create for your team, especially with all your skills being freely refundable, so pay close attention to what these terms mean. While in combat, check the bottom left of the screen as you can see what buffs, debuffs, and special effects are being applied. Ideally, you want to see a lot of green here, as that means your skills and builds are working together. It can be annoying to live on your map screen, but Veilguard's areas are so dense and vertically inclined that opening your map just to associate where you are with what the area looks like can pay dividends later on. Remembering a bit about where you're going and how to get there can really help when you need to double back in the future, or when you unlock it as an exploration area. The less time spent going in circles, the better. Something that could help with orienting yourself is to head into the interface options and lock the minimap rotation to the north. This will always make it so your map and minimap are facing in the same direction. There are big choices in the Veilguard that change the world state, and how certain characters feel about you. Thankfully, it has some incredibly useful save features. Not only can you name every save so you specifically know the reason for that save, but temporary decision saves are automatically created that allow you to go back after you make a big one that lets you do something differently. There are also temporary chapter saves that record your progress after finishing a chapter. This is on top of your 4 autosaves that Veilguard keeps in rotation as you progress. These temporary decision saves won't last forever, hence the name, so it's smart to keep manually saving often, but they do last for quite a while if you get cold feet about a decision you made. Selling valuables to a faction's vendor and completing quests related to that faction will raise your allied strength with them, but this doesn't unlock anything by itself. After passing that allied rank points threshold, you'll have the ability to increase the shop rank from that faction's vendors menu, but you'll have to spend extra resources to do it. Increasing this rank adds more items you can buy from that vendor, and you can preview all of them, so make sure you pay attention to what you're unlocking before selling your valuables to a faction vendor. The Caretaker back at the lighthouse works a bit differently from other vendor ranks, as only collecting mementos throughout the world will increase their shop level, and they can raise the level of weapons and armor. Without the Caretaker, fighting another copy of a weapon or armor piece is the only way to increase the level of your equipment. And if you've been wondering what those locked bonuses are on your weapons and armor, those are there to show you what you'll get when upgrading that piece enough, alongside a small stat increase. Bringing party members with you into missions will not only increase their bond level, but their experience as well. If you don't want characters to get left behind, you'll need to rotate them in and out of your party so they gain experience. There are also particular permanent statuses affected by story choices that make these companions behave differently in battle and slower to progress your relationship. That said, there are only a few moments that lock you in with certain character choices, so unless you're finding those moments particularly tough, raising 2 or 3 party members should be enough to get you through the entire game, if that's the way you choose to play. Between valuables, Fen'Harel statues, weapons, armor, trinkets, gifts, and materials, there are tons of collectibles in the Veilguard. Etheric remnants are a valuable currency that you can't use until you reach Act 3, so don't worry about wasting time looking for the right vendor. And as we mentioned before, new zones are eventually unlocked as exploration areas, so you'll have plenty of time to circle back to something you want later. There are very granular difficulties and interface options in Veilguard. You can change anything from enemy HP, enemy aggression, parry timing, threat indicators, aim assist, and even exploration assists. One of our favorites is to set object glint visibility to always and object glint distance to far, so you can more easily see where collectibles are from far away. If you'd like enemies to be very aggressive but not giant damage sponges, while at the same time increasing your parry window and decreasing your aim assist, you totally can. Don't let the fun police tell you how to live your life. Once you reach rank 3 with the Caretaker back at the lighthouse, you unlock Enchantment, with greater enchantments becoming available as you increase your rank. Enchantment doesn't cost any resources, but allows you to add 1 buff to each weapon and piece of equipment that you have. You can't have the same buff on 2 pieces, as one will override the other. Enchantments can be extremely powerful, such as increased stagger damage and various resistances. Once you reach Caretaker rank 5, you can even enchant your abilities and your companion's equipment. And those are the 14 things about Dragon Age The Veilguard that we wish we knew sooner. We hope you found this useful, and for more on Dragon Age, make sure you check out our full guide on IGN.com. And for everything else gaming, you're already in the right place. IGN.
Lost him.